All right, guys, this is an XRP update video. In all transparency, I did buy some, but none of this content is financial or investment advice. This content is intended for educational purposes only. So I am thinking, I definitely could be wrong. I'm definitely not certain about this, but I'm thinking we could be in a scenario potentially like this. We might even have bottomed out, or perhaps we'll go a little bit lower, but I think we could be heading up, perhaps even maybe 280 or perhaps even up to $3. Yeah, or perhaps we're going to test again down on around lower levels around $2 or 220 or something like that. Tough to say, but I did nibble on some more XRP around here. Just a little bit, nothing too crazy. But right now we're getting these two moving average lines crossing right now. You see the red is crossing the blue. Let's look at times in history, other times in history that we've seen this happen, particularly in a bull market. We're going to go back to 2021. And once we get back here, you see when the red crossed the blue, we actually got a higher low here and we got a big move up. Let's see, right when they crossed, yeah, we almost bottomed out here. So that was a good buy opportunity, arguably, before I got another major move up. And then if we go back to the previous bull run, way back 2017, we got that massive move for XRP. Let's zoom in. Let's see what happened with this. Okay, the red crossed over the blue here. Yeah, it was pretty close to the bottom there, and then it still traded sideways for a little bit longer, and then it got a massive, just an absolutely massive move up. So yeah, I'm thinking there could be a possibility we could be heading up. So other indicators I'm looking at are, we open this up. I mean, the MACD, if we look on the weekly scale, you look at, we got all this red down here, and it could be heading up to things turning around and perhaps getting momentum into the green again. I actually haven't used this indicator that much, but looking at it now, it's hinting that, I mean, in the best case scenario, we could be like something like this. If you look on the right side where, there's the red, we could either be somewhere, let me get this pointer here. Either we're somewhere around here where we still have some more sideways action to go, or we could be perhaps even like right around here, where right after the red turned into, or right before the red turned into the green on the MACD, we see XRP, it got just a massive run up. I'm not necessarily expecting we're gonna get something this crazy with, I mean, the move up here was something else in 2017. I mean, arguably it was 845% move up about. I don't think we're gonna get that much of an explosion. But perhaps we could get to $3 or $4.50, $5. I mean, some of the XRP listeners aren't going to want to hear that. I know some of you people are calling for like $20, like $40. Sorry, guys. I am not in the camp that we're going to get that. I'm much more practical. I'm much more, I don't know, maybe a bit more cautious. But let's see what else we got here. I'm going to go back on the weekly scale again, and we're going to take a look at the, let's look at the RSI here. Now, the RSI typically marks whether the chart is overbought or oversold. So we were in oversold territory on December 2nd, and now we've kind of gone down to the 50 level recently, and now we're heading back up to 55. So that's kind of the feeling right now, at least in my opinion, that it's tough to say, like, are we oversold or overbought? But I think we are, we could be heading back up again. as XRP got a bounce off of this 50 level here in the RSI, and it's heading up. Now we do have to surpass this yellow moving average line here, and if we do that, I think that would be pretty bullish. Last time, I mean, we have like a bit of a trend line here potentially forming. Last time was back here in like 2023, where we did dip below that line, but we eventually shot back up for a few more weeks before then getting rejected off of that trend line. So I'm thinking perhaps we could see something like that where it gets up here, and then worse, then at that point, maybe it gets rejected, maybe it gets through. It's tough to say, but we had something similar back in 2021 where we were seeing some support off of this trend line, but then it broke through, showing some weakness, but then it had one final push up right here, and then moved down and then got rejected off of that trend line, and that really marked the start of the bear market. So we could be seeing something like that here, like I was saying. Maybe we go like that, and then maybe perhaps the bear market is on after that. So that's interesting. And then we have the stochastic RSI, and it's looking good on the weekly. I mean, we still have a lot of room here to possibly, in the most bullish case, to possibly move all the way up here. Now, it's not guaranteed. Sometimes it doesn't even make it all the way up. Maybe sometimes it goes short like that. That would be a little less bullish, but even compared to other tokens such as Sui's already all the way up at the top. Well, almost. Sui's at 93 here on the stochastic RSI. That means arguably it could be getting into overbought territory. It could be having more of a down move at some point. Same as Render, same as Solana. But as you can see, XRP, yeah, we're still down here. We're still almost in oversold territory. So potentially still a lot of room to move up. So that's another reason I'm feeling bullish. XRP. That's not to say that we might not get more volatility. It's not to say that, maybe there's another move down before we head back up. That's certainly possible. And, if we do get some crazy world events, it could go sub $2 again. It's certainly possible. I would go all in at that point. But like I said, I did nibble on some. So I could also cover the XRP astrologies. That's what we do on this channel. Taking a look at the XRP astrology chart based on the June 2nd, 2012 date. As you can see, it says XRP2. I also have XRP1. I'm actually not, I tend to lean on XRP2. XRP1 is December 21st, 2012. Genesis block, and then XRP2 once again was June 2nd. Historically, XRP2 seems to be a little bit more accurate based on the price action. Typically, when we get really positive astrology with this chart, the price action reflects that on the XRP price chart. That's just my opinions. Some other astrologers disagree with me. Some of them prefer XRP1, but we'll just have to look at both. So if we look at the transits coming up here, we actually do have, we did have a very positive transit on 10th of May. Now, I always say this is that the XRP astrology doesn't always pan out and correlate exactly with the price action. So I would be cautiously optimistic here, as we didn't necessarily get a huge move up necessarily on May 10th. Well, let's take a look. May 10th. Let's just review this for a second here. Okay, May 10th, we did get it. Not bad. We did get about a 25% move up. Not bad. So we are seeing some correlation here as I review this. Then the 12th was pretty good. Venus conjunct the XRP Uranus. Venus is the planet of really money, relationships, what we value. Conjunct Uranus, the planet of technology and crypto. Then we have Uranus conjunct the XRP Jupiter. on the 29th. Now, this could either be wild volatility swings, and it could be the fact that it's conjuncting Jupiter. Jupiter being the planet of expansion, we could perhaps get a wild... the reason I say wild is Uranus can bring some really wild, unpredictable moves. It could be kind of a wild card, but the fact that it's conjunct Jupiter, the planet of expansion, we might get a move up by May 29th. And that could even be starting now because this is, as you can see, it's a line, and this line is in effect, this transit is in effect since May 12th. And it gets an exact hit on May 29th, but then could last all the way to June 16th. So we'll take that. That's looking quite positive. Then we get some minor positive transits at the end of the month. We'll take that. And the 29th and the 30th is pretty positive, but also a couple negatives. So I don't look too much at the minor transits, as those tend to not do very much in terms of affecting the XRP price action. We get another decent transit on June 24th, but nothing major sticks out besides that in terms of the astrology. Now I could look at the transits to progressions. Wow, we actually get, well, actually on May 18th, we get Jupiter conjunct the, well, let me double check this. Transiting Jupiter conjunct the XRP progressing sun. That's very positive on May 18th. Yeah, we'll take that. Saturn is then sextiling the XRP progressing Jupiter from June 8th all the way through August 17th. I will take that. So, man, could we actually get a breakout this summer? Like potentially a big move up. The possibility is there. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm definitely not saying to go all in. But man, that's not looking so bad. That's what we want to see for the bulls. That's what we want to see if we want to be seeing some big moves up here. Now I can also look at the other XRP chart, the XRP1, based on the December 21st, 2012 Genesis block. Now this is interesting because we're actually getting a negative transit on May 28th, which is kind of the opposite of what the other chart was showing. So this is why I'm cautiously optimistic. This is why I'm not going all in. I still have about 12% cash, just in case we have another move down. And in that case, I'll just buy a lot more. But yeah, this chart, you know, we have more negative transits. So this is a lot more cautious. Let's see if we look at the progressions. Okay, progressions are looking okay, but definitely not as positive as the previous chart as we get these hard aspects here on June 28th and July 1st. We do get a big positive with Jupiter trining the XRP progressed Neptune on June 15th. Jupiter can bring expansion, and that could actually bring euphoria. So, man, could we even have a big breakout by then, by June 15th? It's possible. It's possible. All right, we'll take that. And like I'm saying, you know, the astrology does not guarantee this, but it just means things are, you know, if we see a lot of positive astrology, that helps. That gives me, you know, more optimism here. The fact that XRP, this chart was very positive. Yeah, just gives me a little bit more confidence that a move up is looking more likely here. Okay, let me know what questions you guys have in the comments below. Do you think XRP is going to have a big move up this summer? Is this big move coming soon? Or are the bears going to take over and we're going to head back down sub $2? It actually is still possible, arguably, that we do head down. We could even go to $1.25 and still maintain bull market momentum. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's more likely that we could be heading up here soon. So that's why I'm putting my money where my mouth is. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let me know what other videos you'd like me to cover. What other cryptos? Ethereum, Solana, Sui. Let me know in the comments below what you want me to cover next, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.